Hey, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Danny here at Infinity Wellness Center. Thanks for joining me for my webinar, When Anxiety is More Than a Gut Feeling. And we gave a few minutes to let everybody join and kind of get a late start here. Couple minutes late, but just went ahead and give everybody a chance to get started so we didn't have to repeat a lot. But if you're catching this on the video, thanks for signing up and getting the video sent out. But if you have any questions, feel free to stop me. You can unmute yourself or ask questions in the chat box. And if you're catching this on video, email us and ask questions there. But once again, I'm Dr. Danny at Infinity Wellness Center, and we'll be talking about anxiety and gut health today. I'm a chiropractor specializing in applied kinesiology and functional medicine. And I'll be talking about anxiety and gut health today because I'm seeing patients, not only patients, but friends and family, even myself, deal with anxiety stemming from a little bit of some gut health or gut health going not so well. So who here struggles with, or I guess who out there virtually here struggles with anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, brain fog, maybe some gas and bloating, bowel changes, even skin issues. I know struggle with the majority of that list throughout the past few years. And we're going to get all those symptoms reversed. And we're by using an individual plan designed specifically for you. So what works for me is not going to work for you. It's not going to work for the next person. So we're going to use individual plans specifically designed for each individual. And we're going to use a specific sequence. So the body will prioritize healing in certain patterns and certain processes first. So if we are doing things already and I'm kind of, at an area where somebody else has already been kind of past that area, I might need to do some things before getting to that area where the other person is, where they may have already done some things and they can go from there. So that sequence would be off for me compared to them. So sequence and timing is a thing as well. And also staying consistent. So trusting the process. We didn't get in these struggles overnight, and we're not going to get out of them overnight either. So it takes a little bit of time and changing physiology here. And like I said, just really trusting the process. But kind of going into what's going on, we're looking at some GI health and anxiety. So kind of the tie there is neurotransmitter serotonin. Up to 90% of serotonin is made in the gut and sent to the brain. Okay. The caveat to this, it's 90% is made in a healthy gut. So if we have some dysbiosis or really just poor gut health, that number starts to drop, and it's not either being made or not being properly sent to the brain. So now all of a sudden we have a low serotonin level in the brain. Serotonin regulates mood. It allows us to check anger, control appetite, and regulate body temp. It's from an essential amino acid, tryptophan. Essential means we have to get it through our diet, so it's not something our body can produce on its own. So tryptophan is needed through our diet to synthesize serotonin. And we talked a little bit about, I guess I mentioned insomnia earlier. Like, what does gut health and anxiety have to do with insomnia? Well, serotonin is a neurotransmitter that regulates mood. It turns into melatonin. So serotonin goes to melatonin, but in the absence of light. So if we are constantly around incandescent light bulbs, or especially the LED screens that we're staring into, or the phones, or even like new TVs or that they're flat, they're LED, the plasma stuff, really just light in general, especially the flat screens, anything with the blue light really takes away from the serotonin going into melatonin. If you notice, during the day, we have a little more blue light in the sky. And then as the sun sets, we get more oranges and yellows, and things like that, reds, because that blue light's going away. Our body got used to this over time and knows that, hey, as the blue light goes away, we need to start to make melatonin to get ready to go to sleep. So that being said, if we're constantly in a setting where we're behind lights, or especially the LED screens within a couple hours before bed, some blue light glasses really help negate that response, so we can make melatonin from serotonin. But why me, right? Why is this happening to me? Why is this going on to me and not somebody else? Or why it's happening more to me or at a certain time in my life when it wasn't going on previously? Well, there's a few things going on here. GI inflammation, whether it comes from diet or a dysbiosis. So dietary inflammation can come from corn, wheat, dairy, soy, sugar, right? Really anything that you're having a sensitivity to. So really the main 5 major inflammatory foods, or anything specific that you know that you have a problem with. If you're constantly eating that, that's causing inflammation in the GI tract and causing a lot of this dysregulation to make serotonin descend into the brain. Dysbiosis, so viruses, bacteria, funguses, parasites, things like that, can also cause poor gut health. Also genes. We look at genes or mutations in the DNA to see how the body can make or how well the body can make certain processes work. So if we have a DNA mutation in one of these genes, we need to identify that so we can support it and get the body to move forward a bit. But yeah, where's this going? Where's also cofactors. So from kind of back from the diet, if we're not eating anything particularly inflammatory, if we're not eating specifically the right type of things, like I said, the serotonin comes from tryptophan. So if we're not eating a tryptophan, an essential amino acid, we're not going to get cofactors to make specific neurotransmitters and things that really help move these processes forward. So where's this going? Of course, if we keep eating bad foods and kind of not getting cofactors and keep treating the gut in a poor manner, that anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, right? All these symptoms we talked about earlier, brain fog, gut changes, all those are going to continue to go on. But also, this can lead to autoimmunity. Autoimmunity can come from prolonged inflammation in the GI tract. Having high inflammation in the GI tract constantly activates the immune system. And if the immune system is constantly activated, it will start to attack self tissue over long term. So there's a little bit of confusion there in the immune system because it's being brought to this area constantly. And over a period of time, when it's looking at different foods, it can start attacking soft tissue. So that's not something we want to get into. But here at Infinity, we test GI health or gut health through a few different things. So first, we're going to do a full history, a full exam, kind of get some kind of back history, what's been going on, when did this start, or even parent history, and kind of how, hey, did your parents ever deal, or anybody in your family ever deal with some of the stuff? We'll do a full history followed by the exam. Exam we'll be doing if we're doing things here in the office, we can do like I said, all different kind of checks for minerals, dehydration, and so just really looking at that side of things. From the lab perspective, we can look at functional blood chemistry. Functional blood chemistry is taking blood samples or taking blood labs and looking at them from a functional point of view rather than a lab or a typical Western lab model point of view. So typical Western lab ranges are set really wide. And if you're inside of that range, everything's fine. There's no pathological end-stage diseases or processes going on, right? Functional blood chemistry will tighten up the ranges a little bit from like I said, from that real wide range to a more physiological normal, or how the body should run. If you're outside of that on either side, that might be your normal. You might just be holding there, and that's fine. If you're trending towards that larger range and we're not quite there yet, let's not wait till you get on the other side of that. We can make changes, kind of catch some things in the gray, and not wait till we're on the other side where things may not get back to being as good as possible. So that's the functional blood panel. We also look at a GI map, so a stool test that looks at good bacteria, bad bacteria in the GI tract, also any parasites, and then it also kind of looks into the immune system, kind of in tune with the bowels, right? Also neurotransmitter testing, so we can look at neurotransmitters or brain hormones, the serotonin, dopamine, GABA, acetylcholine. A lot of these things in the brain really can change how we feel, and are related to the things that we're eating or not eating, right? Or things that we're doing or not doing. So we want to kind of take a look at those and make sure that all the brain chemicals are in check. And with the stool testing, the neurotransmitter testing, and the blood testing, those are all snapshots of what's going on in time. So sometimes those make sense. As we progress forward, we can take another test and see things that we've done in between are working and we're getting better and things are making sense. Sometimes with, even we kind of run a couple of tests, and even before we get too far forward, we realize things aren't working the way that we're expecting them to. We can go and run a gene test, and kind of how I talked about the DNA mutations in genes. It's a cheek swab, and like I said, that is a looks at your genes. And that's kind of a behind the scenes look at what's going on. So sometimes that explains why the blood looks the way it does, or why the neurotransmitters look the way that they do, because we're not breaking things down in a certain manner from a genetic point of view. So we really want to catch kind of all the whole spectrum here. And then how we support the GI tract, or how we support GI health. So we support things here 3 ways: physically, emotionally, and chemically. Physically, we would like to support GI health through adjusting the spine. The nerves that can go to the spine, nerves that go from the spine, from the brain through the spine to the GI tract, and all the tissues of the GI tract kind of come through the mid back here. So just want to make sure that even if there's not any pain there, that that area is moving the way that it should, not causing any extra inflammation or irritation. That way, just the message is sent better from the brain to the tissues of the GI tract. Emotionally, if we're constantly in a fight or flight mode, that the energy and blood is shunted away from the core and goes to the arms, legs, and eyes, so we can run, fight, and see whatever we're fighting from. So we need to de-stress, do things like yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, really kind of get out of the sympathetic state, more into a parasympathetic state. So kind of getting away from fight or flight, going more into a rest and digest mode, and allowing the blood and energy to run to the core, so we can digest and absorb and do all those things that the GI tract should be doing. Chemically, so diet and supplements. So diet, we want to make sure that we're removing all the inflammatory foods, but then also adding a lot of the foods that we know that have cofactors in them for neurotransmitters and for good brain health and things that really help curb anxiety. Supplements are just that. They are supplements to things that we're not getting in our diet. So we'd like to get them through diet first, or out of diet first. But if we need to use them short term, or really get some glandulars and things, vitamins, minerals into the diet to flood the system and get those cofactors there, we can definitely use those. So I know we talked a little bit about a lot here, and I just want to, so if you have any questions, please feel free to chime in. If you have any questions when you're watching the video, don't hesitate to shoot me an email to either me or the front desk. We'll get you answered back to that as soon as we get it. But I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for any questions if y'all have anything. You can unmute yourself or type in the chat box if you have any questions now. And like I said, if you have any questions, you're watching the video, go ahead and email me at Dr. Danny, that's dr.danny@austinholisticdr.com, or info@austinholisticdr.com, and that'll go to Brooke at the front desk. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next time. And yeah, give it just a few more seconds. Waiting for questions.
I got nothing.
All right.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you got it. And Christy, thanks for tuning in as well. And I just hope to see you guys in here. Like I said, if you have any questions either now or things that come up later, need to ask me something, or something pops in your head tonight while you're laying there, or just can't get it out of your head, just shoot me an email. Kind of go over anything that you need to rehear, or anything that I may not have covered well enough. I can answer questions that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. This was When Anxiety is More Than a Gut Feeling, and I hope to catch you on the next few. All right.
Thanks. Bye.